There's some interesting spending habits of Gen Z. Gen Z is the generation after the millennials. Tell me about their spending habits.
Well, one of the interesting things there's a little crossover between Gen Y and Gen Z, the millennials, or Gen Z and the millennials. One is that
millennials were also called Gen Y.
Yeah.
Because it was X,
exactly.
then Y, then Z, right?
And so, so the Gen Zers, they're between 7 and 21 years of age right now, right? They're not really in the workforce yet, but one of the most interesting things that they prefer to own instead of rent.
Right.
If you ask them what's most important, owning a home, renting a home, definitely renting a home. If it's owning or renting or owning a home, if it's renting or owning a car or taking public transportation or Uber, they want to own a car. 33% would give up their cell phone to own a car. 33% of Gen Zers stated that they would give up their cell phone. That's huge.
Now the home thing,
the millennials don't want to own. They would much rather rent and not have to maintain.
So the Gen Zers are kind of with them on the home thing, and that might be they're a little young too, but not buying as many homes, which affects everything. But they're back to wanting to own cars.
Yes.
Which millennials were out. They didn't want to own if they had viable public transportation. Now, some of this was they didn't want the responsibility because they wanted to spend that time doing other things. I get that. And they didn't have the money, so they prioritized. This is one of the things I always praise the millennials for. They actually prioritize, saying we have less money as a generation than the previous generations, and we would rather have the phone, so I won't get a car.
Yep, and we would rather spend our money on the experience than the item, right?
Okay.
So one of the big crossovers where they are very similar is that they spend their number one consumable or non-essential product that they spend money on is food.
Oh, Gen Z?
Gen Z as well as
and
the
millennials were kind of like that, right?
They're pretty much even. As a matter of fact, several of the Gen Zers interviewed had a budget of $100 to $125 a week for food, for dining out.
Dining out?
And they would actually occasionally bump that to $125 to $150 to accommodate what they wanted to do that week.
That's a lot of money for eating out.